warned you about smooth talkers. Retired President Uhuru Kenyatta cautions Mount Kenya against re-electing President Ruto and tells the opposition Kenyans want unity.
Hata nyinyi mmeanza kuona kwa macho yenu. Walikuwa wanasema hakuna kitu inaendelea. Leo barabara zetu zote zilikuwa zimekwama, contractors wamerudi barabarani.
I kept my promise. President William Ruto says his record guarantees a second term, saying he has delivered on his campaign pledges. Attempted arrest. Scuffle outside Parliament as senators manhandle Samburu Governor Lelelit over Senate summons. Second day of running battles. Chaos in Machakos town as police lob tear gas and engage contractors over county pending bills. And Njoki Shege is our sign language interpreter. Retired President Uhuru Kenyatta has warned residents of the Mount Kenya region against repeating past mistakes, urging them to listen to the ground and shun smooth-talking leaders. Speaking in Kirinyaga County during the funeral service of former Senator Daniel Karaba, the Jubilee Party leader, who also shared the same podium with united opposition leaders, among them Rigathi Gachagua, castigated religious leaders for misleading the people of the Mount Kenya region, urging them to keep off politics. Seth Olale with that report.
The retired president reunited with his former aide and impeached former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua during the funeral service of former Senator Daniel Karaba in Kirinyaga County. Speaking in his native Gikuyu language, the Jubilee Party leader warned the residents of Mount Kenya region against repeating past mistakes.
Neguo munyitane no wadira igua ground munyitireyo hau ndira igua ni no tono ko igua ndira igua neguo ni ndire no tati ni gutire gitinde na caria ore mugathura ri ni gakorwo hari icaweri ni no utire na thina ni neguo no mwahetia ni horo wanyu.
The former head of state saying that although he has retired from active politics, he is busy listening to the ground from his Ishaweri home. The Jubilee Party leader urging residents of the mountain to be vigilant and reject leaders spreading lies and propaganda.
No newega andu kuthikiriria atongoria guthikiriria ki ti ateti tondu riri ateti negemetagwo ateti makoragwo na uki wa rurimi
The retired president, who shared the same podium with united opposition leaders, including Rigathi Gachagua, castigated religious leaders for misleading the people of Mount Kenya, urging them to keep off politics.
Ndamuthaitha na gitio kingi muno tondu inyuĩ nĩ mwacangĩirie kĩpindi kĩnene mũno gĩa gũtwara andũ aitũ njĩra ĩtagĩrĩire nĩguo ndiũĩ nĩ gĩtũmi gĩrĩkũ mwarĩ nacio nĩ cianyu no ndamũhoya tigai gũte kĩrĩndĩ gĩkĩ nĩguo kĩrĩndĩ gĩkĩ rĩ kĩrenda mũmatongorie ngoro na kĩroho makinye the kingdom of God. no maundu ma thi no ri tigerai atongoria aria moi maundu ma thi no.
Naona hii watu ya Kasongo pale Ikulu wana shida hapo mikutano, wakisema ati Uhuru Kenyatta rais wetu hawezi fanya kazi za Rigiji. Mlijua namna gani?
Siku hizi wanasema ati Uhuru ametupatia pesa, na hao ndio walikuwa watu wa Uhuru zaidi.
Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
And President William Ruto says his development record guarantees him a second term in office, brushing off claims by his opponents that his government has failed to deliver. The head of state defended his pet project so far, insisting that he is on the right path to achieve his plan, also rejecting allegations that 103 billion Kenya shillings was lost through the Social Health Authority, accusing the opposition leaders of lacking an understanding of how the program works and the benefits. The president made the remarks during a meeting with members of the Maendeleo ya Wanawake, where he praised women for their vital role in driving the country's development. Melita Oletenges has that report.
President and Commander-in-Chief.
President William Ruto defended his administration's track record since taking over from former President Uhuru Kenyatta, insisting that despite sustained criticism, his government has made tangible progress.
Na hii nchi yetu itabadilika. Hata nyinyi mmeanza kuona kwa macho yenu. Walikuwa wanasema hakuna kitu inaendelea. Leo barabara zetu zote zilikuwa zimekwama, contractors wamerudi barabarani.
He added that it has become routine for some leaders to oppose all government initiatives, but maintained that Kenyans will continue to see results from his administration.
Wao ndio waletuambia ati bomas imeuzwa kwa Waturuki. Leo bomas inajengwa na itakamilika miezi miwili mitatu inayokuja. Wakatuambia ya kwamba barabara ya Mau Summit kutoka hapa Rironi ati hata wheelbarrow hawajaona, hakuna kitu inaendelea. Hiyo Mau Summit, barabara hiyo, kama kuna watu walitoka kule mulipitia hapo, muliona inaendelea ama iendelee?
Claims by the opposition that Kenya shillings 103 billion has been stolen from SHA have sparked heated debate. The president, responding to his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua, dismissed the allegations as baseless.
Porojo, unajua SHA haifanyi kwa sababu huyo mwenye anasema SHA haifanyi kwanza hajajiandikisha. Huyo mwingine hajakuwa mgonjwa.
Ruto criticized Gachagua, saying he lacks accurate information about SHA and urged Kenyans to ignore claims that SHA is on the verge of collapse.
Ati ako na habari kwamba SHA ita collapse in 6 months. Kwa sababu mimi ni rais, nikajaribu kuchunguza hii habari alitoa wapi. Nikagundua kumbe alienda akaongea na waganga na wachawi ndio wakamwambia hiyo.
The president spoke during a meeting with close to 5,000 Maendeleo ya Wanawake members drawn from across the country, where he commended women for their contribution to national development. Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV.
There was drama today in Parliament as senators, mainly from the Public Accounts Committee, CPAC, attacked Samburu County Governor Lati Lelelit as they tried to enforce a citizen's arrest on him. This over failure to appear before the Watchdog Committee to respond to audit queries, forcing the governor to flee. The senators have vowed to stop any funding to devolve units which snub their audit sittings until the governors appear. As our political affairs reporter Emmanuel Toh now tells us, the governor has since threatened to sue the senators who roughed him up, saying he was assaulted.
A few minutes after 2:30 p.m. Wednesday, Samburu Governor Lati Lelelit arrived at the Senate building following a reported warrant of arrest against him for failing to appear before the Senate County Public Accounts Committee, CPAC. As he addressed the media outside the Senate main entrance on why he had failed to turn up, senators inside the chamber were also busy plotting his arrest, some asking for a citizen's arrest against him.
I want to request, Mr. Speaker, if you can allow us to go and do a citizen arrest to these people and take them to the police.
I will order the Sergeant-at-Arms to escort the Governor for Samburu, if he's still within the precincts of Parliament, to the nearest police station.
And so the senators left, accompanying the Sergeant-at-Arms.
Nikafikiria, nikasema kitu muhimu ama ingekuwa mzuri ni kuachana yote mbili.
Outside the gate, the governor, who was making a case for his absence, was forced to cut short his speech as the senators arrived to implement the citizen's arrest. The situation causing a commotion as the senators dragged the county boss, intending to take him to the police station within Parliament. His security detail wrestling him from the hands of the senators. The governor later sped off, leaving a heated exchange behind him outside Parliament Road.
How can he push a member of Parliament? Why are you pushing him? He should be arrested. For what? For what? Why are you pushing them? Why should he push a member of Parliament? But which member of Parliament?
The senators who returned to the House picked up from where they left.
One of his goons, Honorable Speaker, grabbed me by my coat. I don't say it's an expensive suit, but now it's ruined.
Yeah, Governor Lelit. He has run faster than Omanyala out of the precincts of this house to escape.
That I be granted the opportunity to defer.
The House resolved to suspend debate on the Division of Revenue Bill, which would have seen counties get additional funding, as the senators put the county executives on notice. Governor Lelelit, who later addressed the media at a city hotel, threatened to take legal action against the senators.
So they started assaulting me from the back. They're cowards. They should have come in front. You fight people in front. So I was addressing the media, looking at the cameras, and they started hitting me from behind. I'm going to the police station now to file a case, and there is enough evidence from the cameras on how these people attacked me from behind. That is one. I want also Kenyans to make judgment on what those three goons did today.
Governor Lati had earlier faulted the House for inviting him to CPAC and CPIC, two separate committees which were sitting concurrently. The Council of Governors condemned the alleged assault on Governor Lelelit. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
For the second day running, transport and business activities in Machakos town were disrupted following violent clashes between contractors, suppliers and county security officials. The unrest erupted after the traders staged demonstrations threatening to march to the governor's office to demand payment of long outstanding bills, accusing the county government of failing to settle dues dating back nearly 2 years. But as Mary Moki now details, Governor Wavinya Ndeti has dismissed the claims, saying some of the suppliers protesting did not meet the contractual obligations.
This is how the situation unfolded in Machakos on Wednesday. Run-in battles and tear gas as protesting contractors engaged security officers. The confrontation escalated after contractors attempted to breach security and force their way into the governor's office to demand their payments. The suppliers, some of whom suffered injuries during the fracas, are accusing the police of using excessive force.
Stated that we were coming for a peaceful protest. We were welcomed by goons, beaten, chased away. We are just seeking for our justice, our payment. And the funny thing is, the people who are beating us are the same people who are wearing our uniforms.
Amepigwa vibaya, very serious, amepigwa vibaya sana.
Ameshikwa
Jose na Kioko. Wamepigwa vibaya, alafu sister yake kuja kuuliza nini na happen? Kwa nini mnafanya hivi? Imagine sister yake akapigwa kofi. Imeniuma.
The county owes suppliers 1.9 billion shillings after paying 248 million shillings of the pending bills. Governor Wavinya Ndeti says the county is committed to settling all verified pending bills in a transparent and structured manner.
Wale wote wamefanya kazi county ya Machakos, we pay them and we continue paying them. Hauwezi kukataa kulipa mtu yule amefanya kazi, lazima mtu alipwe bwana. Hiyo ni pesa anaomba bank ndio akuja kufanya nini? Kufanya kazi, but there's a due process.
The aggrieved suppliers and vendors are now vowing to hold daily demonstrations until the county government explains an alleged assault on one of their colleagues, reportedly by suspected county officers. The vendors say the unpaid bills are threatening to sink their businesses.
County ya Machakos, pesa yenye ilipitishwa na task force yenye iliwekwa venye Governor Wavinya alikuja. Ni services I offered in the year 2020-2021. And so, ni kitu inauma because we've been following up. Tunafuatilia tulipwe, atulipwi, unazungushwa like there is a time. Hadi nikapata email yenye inakujanga kwa system mtu akilipwa, nalipwa pesa fulani. Kufuatilia si kuwekewa pesa. So inajiuliza, kwani watu wenye wanalipagwa maachani wa gani?
Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.
President William Ruto has defended the demolition of parts of Gikomba market, saying it was necessary to allow the long-planned multi-billion shillings market upgrade to proceed, while warning leaders against politicizing the matter. The exercise has split traders into two groups. Some have moved to a temporary holding site in order to safeguard their businesses, while others refuse to leave the market, claiming cartels are demanding bribes to allocate spaces in the market they are expected to move to. Willie Lusige has that report.
After Tuesday's demolitions of parts of Gikomba market where more than 6,000 traders were displaced, President William Ruto defended the demolition, stressing that it's part of a plan to modernize the market. He also asked politicians to stop dragging ethnic politics into the exercise.
Mimi nataka niwaambie nyinyi ambao mnataka kutuletea ukabila, pelekeni ukabila yenu mbali, wachana na wafanyabiashara wa Gikomba. Wamesema jana ya kwamba wanakubaliana na serikali soko ya Gikomba ijengwe.
The demolition has split displaced traders into two groups. Some have moved to the temporary site to carry on with their businesses while waiting for the new market to be built. They complain about the high fees they are being asked to pay for spaces, as well as poor conditions and lack of basic services.
Sasa hii ndio Singapore yetu hapa, lakini frustrations ni mingi. Number one, tunaambiwa kwanza unalipa hizi viwanja 7,000. Hakuna choo, hakuna chakula, hakuna kitu huku. Jua ni mingi, hakujajengwa huku juu.
Others have refused to leave Gikomba market and continue to trading on the floors. They claim certain groups are demanding bribes to allocate spaces in the new market. They also say the new market is too small to accommodate everyone.
Na ile kitu tunataka kuambia president, hapa sisi hatutoki. Hapa ndio mahali tunafanyia kazi, hapa ndio tunalelea watoto. Serikali inataka hao mama wapeleke watoto wapi? Na hapa ndio wanalelea watoto, ndio wanasomeshia watoto.
After demolition of Gikomba market, attention has shifted to the government, which is now under pressure to deliver a modern market within the 4 months it has promised. The demolition of areas along Nairobi River extends toward Isili tonight. Many traders say some buildings and parts of the city were left untouched. They complain that the 14-day notice given was not enough, and they are calling on the government to compensate them or allocate affordable housing units.
Sasa tunashindwa hii serikali yetu tulichagua. Hakuna ile utu. 14 days kwa mtu anakaa hapa, unasoma hapa na unafanya kazi hapa. Tunapewa enough time. Jana walikuja na tingatinga bila notice, wanaanza kubomoa nyumba kama ziko na watu.
Kweli, kama ni hizo nyumba za affordable housing, tungejaribu hata kama ni watu wenye walibomolewa owners wa manyumba, wapewe hata kama ni nyumba moja moja, wajue mahali watatuweka kama wenye manyumba, na tuna haki. Hii ni Kenya.
Willie Lusige, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
The government will employ artificial intelligence in police recruitment as it seeks to reform and improve the force. At the same time, the state says it will phase out physical occurrence books and replace them with a digital form of reporting that will improve efficiency and reduce corruption. Brenda Wanga has that report.
In a country where the police occurrence book has traditionally been a thick handwritten ledger prone to wear and tear, a digital revolution is finally knocking at the police station's desks.
Cybersecurity.
Speaking at the finals of the AI hackathon hosted by the National Intelligence Research University NIRU, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen signaled the end of the manual era.
The next police recruitment should now move to having a lot that deals with AI, technology. We cannot continue recruiting in the same manner and expect us to be in a competitive way. It is important that we get professionals who specifically support the National Police Service to be able to combat these challenges.
The centerpiece of this transformation is a digital occurrence book and a decentralized reporting system that will make the trip to the police station optional.
I want to assure you that all of us will be able to reach a police station from the comfort of our offices, from the comfort of our homes, from the comfort of hotels when they are taking a cup of tea.
This shift aims to streamline the reporting process, allowing Kenyans to file reports directly from a crime scene or their homes. The digital overhaul will go beyond police paperwork. It is also about presence. Procurement is currently underway for a massive rollout of digital gadgets and CCTV surveillance across major cities. While IG Kanja emphasized using these cameras to curb human error, CS Murkomen highlighted a more sensitive benefit: accountability. The new gadgets and station cameras are specifically intended to provide a digital footprint of every interaction, acting as a deterrent against police brutality. Nordin Haji, the Director General of the NIS, noted that while AI integration is non-negotiable for national security, it won't be a Wild West scenario.
These advancements are making government services, financial systems, and critical infrastructure more exposed to cyber intrusions, manipulations, and exploitations by transnational criminal networks. We thus require intelligence systems that can continuously monitor networks, detect emerging threats in real time.
As the NIRU Hackathon winners walked away with prizes for their local solutions, the message from the top brass was clear: the next generation of Kenyan policing will be built on code. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, is racing against time to enlist at least 6.5 million new voters ahead of the general election next year. And as the Commission intensifies the campaign to appeal to Kenyans to turn out in large numbers to register, our political affairs reporter Stephen Leto takes a look at the new numbers that the Commission is targeting and where a majority of them are.
With 17 months to the August 2027 general elections, the IEBC has launched enhanced voter registration exercise targeting 6.5 million voters. This is expected to push the total number of voters in 2027 to 28,497,075, up from 22,120,458 voters. According to the projections, IEBC targets to enlist a total of 684,738 voters in Nairobi, with Starehe constituency leading the pack. In Nyanza region, a total of 889,889 new voters are expected to be registered during the ongoing enhanced continuous voter registration. In the neighboring Western Kenya region, that comprises Kakamega, Bungoma, Vihiga and Busia counties, 632,400 472 possible new voters targeted for enlisting. The Rift Valley region has the highest number of unregistered voters, totaling 1,525,531 eligible voters. Nakuru and Uasin Gishu counties leading with the highest number in the region. According to the IBC data, the central Kenya region, that is made up of Kiambu, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Nyeri, Nyandarua, Embu, Meru and Tharaka Nithi counties, shows that 1,243,280 possible new voters are yet to be enlisted as the battle for numbers hots up ahead of the 2027 general election. Machakos, Kitui and Makueni counties that make up the lower eastern region have a combined 484,687 unregistered eligible voters. The northern region that comprises of Isiolo, Marsabit, Mandera, Wajir and Garissa all have 251,699 possible new voters that are yet to be enlisted as voters. 555,799 new voters are targeted for enlisting in counties of Taita Taveta, Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, Lamu and Tana River, which make up the coastal region. Kisauni constituency leading in the park with the highest number of unregistered eligible voters.
Bila kadi yako ya kura, umechukua sauti yako iende kwa mdomo wa mwingine azungumze anavotaka.
To realize these numbers, IBC commissioners are also calling for partnership with the political class to boost, to mobilize eligible voters.
So I encourage these partnerships with our leaders at the county level, at the national level, those in parliament, and indeed across all levels of government and civic participation.
IBC Chair Erastus Ethekon say the commission has witnessed a good number of the youth turning up to take up their voters' cards. The IBC is also seeking to increase the numbers by enlisting more voters in prisons and in the diaspora. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Consequential election.
I know. You see the numbers.
Consequential.
It's all about the numbers. Right?
No doubt that Kenya is now on the cusp of transformation.
No doubt. Take a break. In the meantime, let's remind you of our guest tonight, best political tag team on TV. I'm talking about Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, senior counsel, is in the house, as is Dr. Barack with the 2 R's Muluka, all the way from Emanuelia. They'll be joined by Joshua Nyamori, who is an advocate of the High Court and a political analyst as well. Talking about the state of the nation. Political temperatures are high, even though politicians should not be politicking. Very bizarre. 15 or 16 months to the elections?
You heard what the former president said.
Yeah, we did. We're going to be talking about that. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff.
At Ayub Abdikadir.
At Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLive. JKLive takes a break. We'll be back. In the meantime, coming up.
Honorable members, I see you.
Russia military recruitment. 252 Kenyans trapped in Russia after being recruited to fight in the Russia-Ukraine war.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching JKL. The late former Kirinyaga County Senator Daniel Karaba has been mourned as a selfless leader who championed for education and equality in the country. Retired President Uhuru Kenyatta described Karaba as a hero who championed for the 100% transition, a move that enabled learners from less privileged families access education. His family described him as a pillar of strength, not just for them, but also the country at large. Here's Gatete Njoroge with that report.
For a man whose life was dedicated to changing lives through education, Jega's primary school was the most suitable venue for the final journey of former principal and Senator Daniel Karaba. Hundreds packed the school grounds to honor a man who was a symbol of transformation, not just in his community, but Kenya and Africa at large.
He walked the talk. So when he meant peace, not only in Kiamudambe, but throughout Africa. My husband was even a president of all African principles.
You love to travel, and because of you, I grew to love it too. I enjoyed traveling with you. Each trip, a lesson in geography, where you are eager to impart knowledge. Your curiosity for the world became mine, and it's a part of you that I will always carry.
A passionate teacher, Karaba started his teaching career back in 1971. For over 3 decades, he dedicated his life in classrooms, rising to become a principal in some of the national schools in the country. Through his dedication, he was elected the chairperson Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association, where he led in championing key reforms in the education sector. Qualities he carried to leadership. He was first elected as MP Kirinyaga Central in 2002. He served with dedication, earning himself the honor of being elected Kirinyaga County First Senator in 2013.
Mimi nilikuwa mmoja wa wanafunzi ambao walianza shule ya Kandieri. Tukiwa wachache sana, mimi nilikuwa kwanza. Na kiongozi wa kwanza ambaye alikuwa kuja akatujengea darasa kwa sababu tulianzia kwa workshop, alikuwa huyu kiongozi ambaye amelala hapo.
Wakati nilikuwa rais wa jamhuri hii ya Kenya, one of the strong voices kuhakikisha ya kwamba we have 100% transition from primary to secondary. My brother Karaba was one of the advocates that was constantly pushing that agenda, saying that education is a right.
Karaba, who died 10 days ago after a short illness, is survived by a widow, 5 children and 8 grandchildren. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV.
14 Kenyans are serving jail terms in Thailand for bearing false immigration stamps, while 252 others are trapped in Russia after being recruited to fight in the Russia-Ukraine war. While presenting a report to the National Assembly on the status of Kenyans enlisted in the Russian military, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi disclosed that only 47 of those individuals have been rescued, while 2 others are being held as prisoners of war in Kiev, the Ukrainian capital. Ben Kiroi reports on the revelations that raise alarm and allegations of human trafficking, including sexual exploitation and suspected organ harvesting, targeting victims transported to parts of Asia.
2 weeks after returning from Moscow, Russia, where he engaged authorities over the troubling reports of Kenyans fighting on the front lines of a foreign conflict.
We have the PCS, Prime Cabinet Secretary.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has tabled a report in Parliament detailing the scale of the crisis. The report reveals that the number of Kenyans enlisted in Russian special military operations linked to the Russia-Ukraine war has surpassed 250. Of these, only 47 have been rescued and facilitated to return home safely.
On the prisoners of war, we have records of 2 Kenyans, namely Evans Kibet and Macharia Willie Muniu, who are being held in Ukraine.
With many families still unaware of the whereabouts of their loved ones, the report further indicates that at least 10 Kenyans are believed to have been killed. Although their identities are yet to be confirmed, others are reported to be receiving treatment in various civilian and military hospitals.
I would like to know from the PCS whether he is aware that Erastus Mundia of Lugari constituency, Mautuma ward, is one of those who died in Ukraine. What the ministry is doing to get the body back home.
We have on record that we lost 10 Kenyans. We are trying our level best, where through proper identification, because this is a war zone.
However, Mudavadi noted that Kenya and Russia are now working jointly to halt further recruitment in a move aimed at effectively ending the enlisting of Kenyans into Russia's special military operations, while also facilitating the voluntary disengagement of those already involved.
The Ministries of Defense of Kenya and Russia to work on facilitation of voluntary disengagement of Kenyans involved in the military operations.
Beyond the battlefield, the report exposes a broader and deeply troubling pattern of exploitation targeting Kenyan youth aged between 23 and 35. Many are reportedly lured through fraudulent overseas job offers posted online, only to end up in parts of Asia where they face abuse.
They are forced to participate in online fraud schemes. They are exploited sexually. In extreme cases, they are sold to larger scam compounds for organ harvesting or disposed in the forests after death.
In Myanmar alone, the report states that between 2022 and 2026, a total of 751 Kenyans have been rescued. Of these, 615 have been repatriated, 39 remained in prison for illegal entry, and 97 are currently held in immigration detention centers, awaiting deportation. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has told off opposition leaders over what he termed as empty political talk with no development track record despite serving in high positions in previous administrations. Kindiki, who toured Tharaka Nithi County to assess development projects including roads and markets, challenged his opponents to showcase their work, urging them to practice politics of ideology and not insults. The Deputy President used the event to dismiss those inciting those living near Nithi Bridge to oppose its construction, saying the government set aside money to compensate those who will be affected. The Deputy President also said that 7 billion shillings has been allocated and set aside for the construction of a new bridge after the old bridge became a death trap where hundreds have lost their lives in recent road accidents.
Hakuna hata kilomita moja ya lami ulitusaidia tupate. Hakuna hata soko moja ulijenga. Hakuna mradi ya stima ulileta. Hakuna hata shule ulijenga ama kanisa. Saa hii wakati umetoka mamlakani ndio unajifanya rafiki ya watu ya Mount Kenya. Hii daraja ya Nithi, we are now counting weeks if not days. Tutajenga hii daraja. And in 2027, during the campaign, the Nithi Bridge is not going to be a campaign issue.
Coming up in business, you can now file your returns via WhatsApp as the Kenya Revenue Authority launches new digital solution to enhance compliance. Here on the broadcast. Taxpayers can now file their returns through WhatsApp after the Kenya Revenue Authority launched the new filing system to simplify compliance and expand the tax base. The service allows users to initiate a conversation on WhatsApp, select the type of the return they want to file, and verify their identity using their KRA PIN. Once verified, the system reviews a taxpayer's filing history and highlights any outstanding obligations, which then allows them to complete filing or make the payments. KRA says this solution leverages the widely used messaging system to provide real-time assistance, offering instant support to taxpayers who encounter challenges during the filing process. The rollout is part of a phased approach to ease congestion on existing systems and encourage timely compliance. This comes as the Kenya Revenue Authority reports that digitization has helped increase the number of people who file their returns and the revenue collected.
And file early this financial year. This new platform represents the standard of tax compliance at KRA. By using WhatsApp to file, the tax processes become smoother, faster, and more accessible to everyone. Filing early not only demonstrates compliance, but also encourages others to adopt simple and efficient ways of meeting their obligations.
HF Group has reported a profit before tax of 1.6 billion Kenya shillings for the financial year ended 2025. This represents over 200% growth compared to the 460 million recorded in 2024. The results signify a strong operational performance and improved revenue growth across business and continued expansion of the deposit franchise. Jamie Mbogo has that report.
Finance 2025 saw a recovery in profitability, where the total income rose by 48% to over 6.17 billion shillings, supported by growth in net interest income, which grew by 64% to settle at 4.36 billion shillings on the back of improved loan book expansion. In the same period, the group saw non-funded income also record a growth of 20%, increasing to 1.81 billion shillings, further strengthening the income diversification.
The key drivers of this performance is, first of all, we are doing a lot of work around creating efficiency through the use of technology. So we are basically a tech-powered business, and so we have created new channels, new platforms for customers to be able to consume our services from.
This, the group says, has resulted in a balance sheet expansion, with total deposits growing by 19% to 56.90 billion shillings, while total assets rose by 17% to stand at 82.4 billion shillings, underscoring continued business growth and lending activity.
So we have seen a very strong uptick in some of the solutions that we have created around SME banking, diaspora banking. We have seen institutional banking. We have seen also in our traditional banking, because of the efficiency that we have created around technology. So we have very strong uptick from customers.
And the lender says its liquidity remains strong, with the ratio standing at 51.5%, more than double the regulatory requirement, with capital adequacy also remaining above required threshold, even as the core capital ratio closed the year at 21.8%. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Farmers in Kenya's semi-arid regions are increasingly turning to climate-smart inputs and regenerative agriculture to cushion themselves from unpredictable weather and declining soil fertility. In Machakos County, one farmer is combining drought-tolerant seeds and irrigation plus sustainable farming methods to keep his farm productive throughout the year. On Smart Farm tonight, Dennis Otieno looks at how innovation and traditional practices are helping farmers adapt to climate change.
In the semi-arid landscapes of Matungulu sub-location in Machakos County, farming has never been easy. Rainfall is unpredictable, and prolonged dry spells often threaten crops. But Shadrach Muteti is growing a mix of crops, including vegetables and fruits, on his 4-acre farm at Kayata village. Maize takes up nearly half the land, serving both as food and livestock feed. To cope with the harsh climate, Muteti relies on climate-smart maize varieties, irrigation, and improved crop nutrition. The maize varieties are bred to withstand drought and pest attacks, helping farmers reduce losses.
Hii mahindi ukipanda haikuangi na shida, na wakati zinamea stem yake inakuwa ni ngumu. Kuna wanyama wanakata hapa chini, wanaangusha, wanakula ikiwa ni ndefu. Tena stem yake ni nzuri, na matawi yake ni nzuri ya kukula na ng'ombe. Tena usipokuwa unatumia foliar feed ama fertilizer, inakuwa all the time greens. Kwa hivyo hata mahindi yake ni kuwa inazaa kama mbili, na inakuwa ni mahindi maridadi sana hata ukiona.
But climate-smart seeds are only part of the solution. Muteti also practices regenerative agriculture, focusing on restoring soil health and protecting the environment.
Tena tunatumia tingatinga, tunatumia ile ng'ombe zetu ndio tunalima. Tunapandisha mchanga na tunafanya rotation ya ukipanda chakula upande huu, unabadilisha na maharagwe, unabadilisha na nyanya, ile mchanga iwe ni nzuri.
Across Africa, experts say smallholder farmers like Muteti, who represent 80% of the production, remain the backbone of food production. But they also face growing threats from climate change.
We've seen a lot of floods, we've seen, drought, we've seen cycles of cyclones in markets like, countries like Mozambique. And of course, as the climate impact and effects become quite pronounced, definitely they will remain very critical. Of course, also we've seen, a lot of new diseases, new pests, which also becoming quite a pain point for smallholder farmers.
To navigate these challenges, experts believe farmers must adopt climate-smart inputs and technologies.
So when you think about seed, we talk about, for example, drought-tolerant material, whereby irrespective of the challenges, farmers are able at least to produce and to withstand the impacts of drought. So we have short maturing varieties, which are already in the market. Input seed, which can take 90 to 110 days.
For farmers like Muteti, combining innovation with sustainable farming practices is proving to be a lifeline, ensuring food on the table while protecting the land for generations to come. Dennis Otieno, Smart Farm.
Business News, brought to you by Safaricom Business.
Keep business growing with calling, texting, and SMS. Stay connected with customers and suppliers with Zidisha Plus voice and data. Join Safaricom Business today and power your progress.
Time for some sporting action, and Nairobi United and Mara Sugar shared the spoils after battling to a 1-1 draw in the FKF Premier League match staged at the Kasarani Annex on Wednesday afternoon. After a barren first half, Nairobi United mid-season signing Kevin Wangaya opened the scores for the host, but Alex Imbusia leveled matters for the Sugar Millers. Naibos remained 10th on the log with 35 points, with Mara Sugar moved to position 11 on 31 points. Harambee Starlets reported to camp on Wednesday to begin preparations for the upcoming FIFA Series tournament. Among the notable names in coach Bildin Odemba's provisional squad of the 31 players is Marion Serenge, who is earning her first senior call-up. Serenge was part of the Junior Starlets squad at the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup and has impressed since joining St. Noah Football Club in Uganda, scoring 6 goals in 5 appearances. The FIFA series is set to be staged here in Nairobi from April the 11th to 15th, with India, Australia and Malawi making up the 4-nation tournament. The 2026 Kenya Secondary Schools Sports Association Term 1 National Games got a shot in the arm after dairy farm Brookside pumped 30 million shillings into the competition set to be staged in Kisumu County from April the 5th to 11th, extending a partnership that now spans 23 years. Speaking in Nairobi on Wednesday during the launch, Brookside Dairy Corporate Communications Manager Wilson Okongo said the company's long-term involvement reflects a sustained commitment to youth development through sport. The event will feature athletics, basketball, hockey and rugby 15s.
Continues to benefit students through kitting of all participating teams, with each player receiving a set of 2 uniforms. As I've always said, this encourages parity irrespective of where the students are coming from.
The games are here. On Saturday, we are starting the clinics at Kisumu Boys. The games are in Kisumu. On Tuesday, the kids will arrive on Sunday. Then they will, on Monday, they will rest.
Kenya Pipeline women volleyball team believe they possess the skill set needed to end the 2-decade-long drought of a continental title when the 2026 Women African Volleyball Club Championship Series will kick off in Cairo, Egypt from April the 7th to 20th. The five-time champions have suffered heartbreak since lifting their last crown in 2005 when they defeated record winners Al Ahly SC of Egypt by 3-0 in Nairobi. Since then, the Oilers have lost 6 finals, but they are promising to break the duck after third-place finish last year in Abuja, Nigeria. The Kenyan champions will fly the country's flag in Egypt alongside last year's league runners-up KCB and third-placed DCI.
We put in a lot of man-hours in the training, and we polished a number of areas, including game strategies. And we looked at our match that we lost last time, and we have tried to work around that, around those weaknesses. The team is ready and prepared, and we are promising the country that we are bringing back the trophy home. That trophy is a big trophy in Africa, and it opens a way for us to go and also compete in the World Club Championships. So we are really working towards getting that trophy because we need to progress to the World Club Championships.
The magic that this team has is we have experienced players and junior players, and that is a very good thing in a team because as a Kenya Pipeline team, first of all, we are mentoring, so we can't just remain like the way we are. So we are preparing, for example, seniors when they exit. At the back, we also have junior players that are holding this team.
The Democratic Republic of Congo grabbed the second last available berth at the 2026 FIFA World Cup finals by beating Jamaica 1-0 in the Interconfederation playoff, with Axel Twanzebe netting an extra-time winner to see them return to the World Cup finals after a 52-year wait. The former England under-21 international bundled the ball over the line from a corner in the 100th minute. Here's the historic moment for the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Head to it, slows it on its way to Bakambu. Cedric Bakambu, full stretch, Andre Blake. Bakambu had an eye. This one will be an in-swinging ball towards the near post, sneaks through, it's in! Axel Twanzebe is broken through for DR Congo. 1-0 in extra time. It's words that have never been spoken before. DR Congo is going to the World Cup.
You were 8 years old
in 1974. Correct.
Yep.
52 years ago.
Hosted by West Germany.
Yes, and they were beaten 9-0 by Yugoslavia.
Before the breakup.
Before the breakup of Yugoslavia.
Yeah. So news is done.
Uh-huh.
Business is done.
Go on.
Sports done.
Okay.
Time for the bench.
It is. I got the best political tag team on TV, no doubt. Professor PLO Lumumba, senior counsel, is in the house because they always say every quarter we must do a report card check on the state of the nation. Right next to him is Dr. Barack with the 2 R's, Moluka, all the way from Emmanuelia. And right next to me here is Joshua Nyamori, advocate of the High Court, also a political analyst. We're going to have a great discussion, folks, on the state of this nation right now going forward. 2027 is 16 months away, but if you're a visitor to this country, you would think the elections are this week. Good Lord, who does that? Keep tweeting at KoinangaJeff, at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JKLive. JKLive takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.